guys, Boxing with B. A-Rod without the paycheck is out today, but we're still going to talk some boxing. So hopefully you guys tuned in on Wednesday, PBC fights. We saw two undefeated fighters step into the ring, Victor Pasillas and Ranfis Encarnacion. Today, we're actually going to talk to the victorious Victor Pasillas. Thank you for joining us.
Of course, thank you for having me. Good morning. Good morning. Time to talk some boxing.
Yeah, sorry if it sounds a little bit weird. We're trying to work with the best we got on video chat. So, trying it out. So starting off, so you're 16 and 0. Can you hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly well.
Okay, so you're 16 and 0. You turned pro in 2011, and then we saw a break after 2015, came back 2018. So why the break?
So what happened was, 2011 to 2015, I was with Top Rank and Cameron Duncan, which is my former manager, and it was a good experience. I got to fight on some big cards, and my first fight was on Manufacturer Marquez. My second card was on a Mike Rios and Mike Alvarado and Brandon Rios, there, and the list just goes on. But after 2015, I fought I co-main event one of their cards, and I fought against I don't know, we got like a third, fourth round knockout. So shortly after that, like 1 or 2 days, I had agreed to fighting like 3 weeks later, which was like a turnaround fight. But the fighter that they offered me was Alfonso Hernandez, I think, of Famoso. And I was like, young, and I was like, wait, I'm not ready for a 3 week turnaround, especially with a fighter like that. So it was kind of one of those things, and it kind of made a little dilemma with me and Top Rank at the moment. And they kind of got a little bit upset with me,
Mm.
so they kind of shelved me for a little while. And after about 4 months, 5 months, got news from Cameron Duncan that they were going to let me go due to just us not agreeing. And me and Cameron Duncan at the moment, we weren't getting along as well. We weren't talking. He had too many fighters. He had like 70 something fighters. And, being a part like me and Jesus, Angel Magdaleno, a few fighters that they let go. Um, they had just lost, so I guess they were like single elimination type of deal contract breaker. With me, it was more like I was young and I was not. I was when you're young, you just kind of don't listen. You just don't want to do things your way.
Yeah.
So I was being stubborn, and I agreed with the part. I could have asked them to keep me. I could have said, what, let's let's stay together and stuff like that. But being young, I was just like, okay, whatever. I'll part ways with you guys, and I can focus on myself. So 2015, about 2016 came in, and I started kind of just getting big and became started training fighters and started working, and I started making about 6 figures a year, and I kind of got comfortable with that. I was like, I'm
Mm.
making almost $40 million just working a year, working 40 hours a week though. And in 2017, the whole year passed by. 2017, mid 2017, I ran into Greg Hanley, which is my manager right now, and he's like, "Hey, man, you're, I jumped in the ring with somebody. I think it was Lomachenko. Jumped in the ring with Lomachenko, and I was out of shape. Let me tell you, yeah, I was out of shape. I was coming from a bruised rib. I mean, a broken rib because I was working out and I messed up my rib out of place. So Top Rank called me. They're like, "Hey, how you doing? You still want to box?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not really. I'm okay with not boxing." They're like, "You want to spar Lomachenko?" You know me, I like fire. So I'm like, "Oh, I'll spar Lomachenko, but I don't want to fight." So we got in the ring, and after about a week and a half of sparring, we went home early because it was just kind of pointless sparring only 2 rounds, 3 rounds. They expected me to be like more of a boxing type. As you see my last fight, my coach kind of turned me into a come forward and beat you down, break you down,
Yeah.
still not get hit.
Yeah.
So we gave Lomachenko a lot of problems. So they were only giving us 2 rounds at a time and alternating us with other coaches and with other fighters, which was like one was Tremaine Williams and I forgot who the other kid was. And so I'm not really a sparring type of person. I'm not really a sparring partner. That's just never been my thing. So we went in there and gave him the business, and after that, my manager's like, I'm not gonna like my manager before he being my manager was like my big brother, Greg Hanley. He looked after me in 2011 all the way up, and he kind of was just like, I'm not gonna let you sleep on your talent, man. You gotta fight. So he convinced me to come back into the sport, and I convinced him to come back as my manager because if it was just an advisor, but I convinced him. So I was like, what? If I'm gonna do it, you're gonna be my manager, and I'm gonna be a fighter. And he's like, well, let's just see what happens. So you know 2018, he called me. He's like, "Hey, I got you a fight in San Antonio, Texas," and I was like, "The Riverwalk," and he's like, "Yeah, the Alamo." So of course, I got excited. I was like, "You know what? That's when I won my first national belt men's championship. I was 16 and a half fighting against men, and it just reminded me of. And I have kids. I'm like,
Yeah.
it'll be a good trip for the kids. Kind of win-win everything. So we went out there. We got like a second round knockout, and then he fought us again in 2018, and then we got another second round knockout. And then I was supposed to fight like on Showtime or something, but my little brother passed away.
Oh,
And then after my little brother passed away, we started getting ready for another fight, and then my big brother passed away. So then, it was two big losses. 2018 was a rough year. 2019 came, and we fought twice more. One in Mexico, one in San Mateo. Got knocked out, got early knockout then, and we were supposed to fight, early this year, which was like I think February, or no, March, and like March 21st, which March 16th. March is when the coronavirus.
yeah.
So like, when the pandemic hit, everything shut down. So my fight got canceled, and but I stayed in the gym though. I was killing it. I was like, you know what, this is me time. So I was lifting, my CrossFit, and then I think about 11 weeks ago, they called me. They're like, FS. My manager called me with FS1 wants you to fight against this guy from Dominican Republic. I didn't even think about it. I just said, send me the contract. I signed it, and the rest is history. Went in there and kicked his ass.
So you didn't do your research on it. You didn't say what's his record, what's his stats, when's the last time he was in. You just said sign it. Let's go.
Well, when I seen his back, they said he's 17-0 with 13 knockouts. I said, I was like, well, wait. They said 126, and I'm like, 126 is a little bit big, not big, but just kind of. I wanted to take my time with 122, clean out house.
Yeah.
But then my manager's like, this guy right here, he's a knockout artist, but he ain't fought nobody like you. And I was like, I'm not worried about the knockouts. I'm just worried about me moving up in weight.
Yeah.
And I think I thought about it for I say like literally like 4 minutes, like four, maybe less than that, because I talked to my son. I said, "What you think Daddy should fight him?" And I showed my son his record. My son was all, "You're gonna knock him out, Daddy." So then I took the fight. We signed the contract. We sent it back. We were waiting for him to sign the contract for about 3, 4 weeks. And then once he signed the contract, we knew it was completely gone. But me, I'm a veteran in the sport. 300 fights as an amateur, 6 losses, and that was when I was young as a little kid. So
Yeah.
I don't guess. I don't take time off. I'm always in the gym working out, whether it's lifting weights, running, swimming. I'm always completely active. And you know, I seen it. When about 4 or 5 weeks came before the fight, I seen it in my weight. I seen it in my eyes. I seen it everything like that. I was ready. I was ready for a world title. So this
Yeah.
fight was like, I didn't want to see past him. I didn't want to. I didn't want to. I didn't want to. I didn't want to count my chickens before they hatch. But about 4 to 5 weeks, I told everybody, I'm like, he's done. I'm already ready now, and he's done. So, what happened is he came out. I think though they told us, oh, okay, there's not gonna be no fans. Your wife can't come. Your kids can't come, and you're gonna get corona tested like twice or 3 times a week.
The
So
pandemic life.
I never, and I'm one of those guys. Back in days, everybody knows me saying, oh, no, 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 I always had to have it my way.
Mm.
This was the first time I was like, that's okay. I don't care. Whatever bricks they throw my way, I'm dodge them. I agreed to everything. So FS1 got to meet me, and
Mhm.
BBC got to meet me last Monday or last Sunday, and we fell in love with each other. They treated me well. It was a great outcome. I was at weight 3 days prior to that. I was on time every week. The Zoom meetings that I was having, the interviews with everybody, I had everybody laughing. I was just spitting my game to them as part of you don't really get so many boxers that can talk boxing knowledge. Most boxers are just like, oh, I'm gonna knock him out. Very simple. And when they got a little taste of Victor Pasillas, they're like, oh shit, this is what we're missing. This is what boxing needs. So that's why when you ask me, you do an interview, I said, oh, yeah, let's do it. Any reporter, anybody that ever wanted to get an interview out of me, trust me, I don't. I give them the time. I give them the time of day because this is what boxing is about. They need to hear a boxer's life. They need to hear a boxer's point of view. They need to know what's going on at all times with our lives. And the boxers that don't want to do that, they belong working in an office, in front of a computer or something. They don't belong in the ring.
It's one or the other in your eyes, right?
Yeah, one or the other. You gotta love this. This is not a job. It's a lifestyle. I love it. I love what I do. Everything I do it for a reason. So, this is just who I am. This is what creates me. This is what I'm gonna preach in the sport.
Talking about your amateur career, I know that people might see your record and be like, "Oh, it's not too much. It's not too many fights. He might be new." But if they don't know the backstory, then they're overlooking it,
Yes, yes.
you know?
You know,
But
um, I feel like a lot of I feel like a lot of fighters, they lack that experience, that pedigree, of big amateur background. And let me tell you this, my dad did not let me rest. And it was a 50-50 thing. Sometimes my dad was like, "Hey, we're coming back from the world championships. You just won. Do you want to fight the Golden Gloves?" And it'll be like 4 weeks, 3 weeks later. And I'm like, "Hell yeah, we're gonna fight the Golden Gloves. We ain't gonna sleep on that. I want that. I want that belt."
Yeah.
Fight the Golden Gloves, go to Chattanooga, Tennessee, kick everybody's ass, come back, and then the Desert Showdown will be going on. And the Desert Showdown was an international and invitational, so
Yeah.
you would have Canada, South America, guys from Germany coming. And I wasn't gonna sleep on that either, so I would fight 2 weeks later after that. So every summer I was fighting about 20 something times. So and we would win it. We were cleaning house. We were winning everything all the time. I had 25 national titles, 5 world titles, invitational. And we ruled everybody. We didn't just go in there and beat them. We stopped and knocked out a lot of people.
Just hearing that, you developed a work ethic super young. You just kept it going. You knew what it was like to keep going, keep striving for what's next. Do you think that if you wouldn't have taken that time off for whatever the reasons, were, you could have been up there with the top guys? Because I know that in your amateur resume, you've seen some of these guys that are in the top positions. Do you think you would have been up there right now?
If I would, so let me tell you this: if I wouldn't have taken a break, those top guys would have never got to their top spot. That would have been my spot, straight up. That's and I'm not talking shit. I talked to most of them just after my fight, and they were like, "Damn, bro, you're getting big." I'm like, 130, 135, here I come. So like,
135.
I'll tell you this much: there's levels to this, and I promise you, there's levels to this when it comes down to the top guys. They're just not at my level. Lomachenko, I can't wait till I can get in the ring with him one day. It's gonna be fun, and I'm gonna show you. I'm sure the world, everybody's gonna see me, and they're gonna be like, "Damn, man, how did the world not give him the opportunity?" You heard Joe Gusta say, "Where's Victor been our whole life?" It's the truth. After Top Rank got me, I feel like I got blackballed like crazy. And me and Oscar De La Hoya we never seen eye to eye. We're two lions from East Los Angeles. I'm just from the east side of the river, he's from Royal Heights side. So he didn't give me a shot, which I thought I would probably go to Golden Boy. Eddie Hearn doesn't know me because he's part of the world. So it was very hard to get. It was very. Let me tell you this, man. Craig was pumping my name like a drug dealer in the '80s. He was like, Victor Pasillas, Victor Pasillas. Nobody wanted to give me a shot. Nobody wanted to give me a chance. It was very difficult. To sit back with my family, my kids, and watch these fights. I would sit there and I'm like, this guy has two left feet. This guy's jab so slow. This guy has no charisma. This guy has no style. But they were winning world titles and getting top dollars. And let me tell you this: I took this fight eyes closed, very low money. We didn't get paid much money in this fight, which I should have got paid a lot more money, but it's not at this point right now. I'll get the money later. I want the opportunity to keep showcasing my talent, to keep showing the boxing world what they're missing out on. You got Canelo up there, you got a bunch of exciting fighters. The world doesn't have to see us. That's what it's missing. The boxing world is missing me.
Well, this weekend we saw some 122-pound fights, but then right now you mentioned Lomachenko. Lomachenko is going to be fighting against Teofimo. I know that's kind of far out, but would you want the winner? If that presented it to itself right away and they were like,
Oh, of course. I mean, of course. That's big money right there. Right off the top. Like you said, that's far out. 135 to jump up to 135. I'm 135 right now after ribs all night. You know what I'm saying? So, I would love to fight. I would love the opportunity to fight Lomachenko in the future. But we have Brandon Figueroa has my
yes,
WBA. Angelo Leo has my WBO. Stephen Fortune has my IBO. And Nuri's the new WBC champion. No, nothing against him, but the guy's not on my level. And I'll put that kid to sleep. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of unfinished business and a lot of things I need to conquer before I get to that position. Uh, if Greg ever said, "Hey, Lomachenko wants to fight," we just start weight training. We just start eating more. We start getting a professional team to help me carry that weight. But as far as power goes, I've been in the ring with Lomachenko. My power is much more greater. My speed was much more greater, and I felt my footwork was a lot more fancy. You know. And when it came down to it, the thing what he had over me was the cardio. But like I said, when I got offered the position to go spar him, I was injured. I was out of the boxing. I just did it because I like to smoke. I like touching toes with the raw dogs. I'm a real dog in the sport, and I'm gonna show people that you know they puppies still.
Now, I only asked that because I had seen the other interviews and oh, sorry, I had to keep turning on my phone, but I saw the other interviews and you had mentioned 122, 126, 130. I didn't hear you say 135 until right now. So I had to ask that question because those are the names that are at 135. But before we talk about everyone else, we kind of, we're focusing on everybody else, but your fight this past weekend, I
Yes.
mean, this past weekend, sorry, Wednesday, we saw your fight. Now, that was the first time that you went it was scheduled for 10 rounds, it was televised, and it was against, like you said, another undefeated fighter. How did you
Yes.
prepare mentally and physically for this fight?
Well, mentally, um, you know, the discipline was real. It was real. Like, I'd never fought an undefeated fighter since like the amateurs and stuff like that. No top notch fighter. I think for me it was more like finally, like, and then I'm telling you, it wasn't real until I got the contract and I signed it, and it wasn't real until he signed the contract. But there was a little bit of bumps in the road where I seen that they put another opponent on his resume for this fight. It was another Victor Pasillas, and I'm like, wait, does he think he's fighting him? And I called my manager. I was like, you need to make sure that he knows he's fighting me, because if he finds out he's gonna fight me later, he might pull out. Everybody pulls out of my fights. Top Rank had so much trouble finding me fights at 122, 126, period. So they were convinced me to go up to 130, which I wasn't ready yet because I wanted to clean out. So it didn't feel real and until like about 3 weeks into training camp. But I was already killing it. And I got a great support system. My wife is like my nutritionist. She made sure that my food was on point. She made sure everything was on point. And all I had to do was just basically show up to the gym, which I'm always there, and do my work. Get up and run my 10, 15 miles, whatever I was doing. Swim, weight train, whatever I was doing. So when the fight presented itself, when things got real, it was like butterflies in my stomach more than nerves or anything. It was more like, yes, this is actually happening. Like right before you get on the new, when X came out on at Six Flags, it was like that. It was more fun, more like I'm gonna have fun with this, and you know um fighting against Ranfis, I told him, thank you, man. Like, thank you for the opportunity. Because a lot of guys are suckers, they're just scared, and he was just looking at me like, how did he knew he was going to fight me and this was going to turn like that? He probably would have never signed that contract. So, I mean, I told him and Javier Fontura, I was just like, thank you guys, man. I really appreciate the opportunity, because without you guys, I would just be sitting at home working right now, working for a next step up store or something like that. But going against fighters like that
Oh,
is what I live
there we
for. That's what I need. I need those kind of fights in order to be great. As you guys seen, I got hit. Maybe it said 26 times, but I don't feel like I got hit 10 times. We exchanged a little bit in the third round, I can say, and that was probably just it. And then the rest were just headbutts. And it's always been like that. Let me tell you, Pete, it's always been like that my whole career. I would always get like the best scored, like at least points scored on me. For example, at the national battles, I fought 6 times in a row, and I only got 8 punches scored on me in 6 fights. So we're not in this. We're not in this to go one for one. I'm in there to go 100 to one. I'm trying to stay smart. I'm trying to stay fresh minded. I'm trying to stay healthy, because when all boxing is said and done, I want to be able to play with my grandkids. I want to be able to talk to my kids. I don't want to be like
yeah.
biting my tongue. I don't want to be slow. I want to be able to have my investments, my career, my empire built and steady, so I can be a businessman after boxing. But from 20, 28 to 35 to 37, then there's gonna be a time where my bones and my body that say, hey Vic, you gotta pull out. And I don't want to have to fight for money. So establishing myself is gonna be well, and fighting fighters like this is gonna get me to that kind of money
Yeah.
fight. So, you know, um, I feel like, if boxing doesn't present any more of these fights or better, then it's kind of pointless to keep boxing.
That's definitely a good mindset to have that you're already thinking ahead. Um,
Of course.
I wanted to ask you though, in that first round, I had tweeted, 'cause we were watching it and I was live tweeting about it, and I was like, man, Pasillas is really going in there and trying to, establish himself. You're trying to set the pace. Was that the game plan to go in there and right away set the pace when you heard that first bell?
Of course, like I said, I'm a lion. As soon as that bell rang, the first things first, going into the ring, I was pumped up. I was like, I'm gonna knock this guy out first, second round. And my coach was like, no, no, no. we got put on a pedestal right now. We're in front of the world. You're gonna showcase your talent. You're gonna use your jab. You're gonna feint. You're gonna show the world that we can fight inside, mid range, and outside. Walking forward, we're gonna not get hit. And it just resetted me. Like, well, you know what? You're right. Why just run in there and knock somebody out? I just become a knockout artist. When I'm gonna know, I know I'm gonna get the knockout, but why not expose him? Why not break him down? Why not make a miss counter punch him, not outspeed him? You know, and that's what I did. I went out there and I made sure that I set the pace. I let him throw when I wanted him to throw. Let him come forward when I let him come forward when I allowed it. So basically, the control had to be from the gate. And I noticed he was a fast starter. All his fights are first round knockouts, second round knockouts, and I wanted to just mess with his head, brand mind, and let him know, hey, you in here with a real dog. You in here with a top notch fighter. So
Yeah.
I seen it in his eyes in the weigh-ins though. In the weigh-ins, his eyes he couldn't make eye contact. I seen his nerves, and I've been like I said, I've been in this sport for so long. So if like Mike Tyson said, as soon as you look away, I got you. I got you. And I knew I had him. But then it's one punch away from the truth. So once I felt that jab go in his face and I seen his nerves, once I seen that left hand touch his body and I seen his knees buckle, I'm like, okay, stay patient, Victor. Box him. We're gonna knock him out, but let's break him down. Let's do it the right way. Like
Yeah.
Chavez, like Hagler, like Hearn, like a great. Because I knew I had. I was on TV. I knew everybody's watching. I knew all the champions were watching because everybody wanted, as much as a lot of people wanted me to win, there's a lot of people that wanted me to get, like, okay, he's a has-been. He's not been in the ring for a whole year and a half. He's a has-been. So that's why it was very important for me to break it down 10 weeks, train very hard, and be like a scientist in there rather than just a hard worker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the first round was very, very vital. The first 3 rounds were very, very important. And after that, it was history.
Yeah. I mean, it's awesome to hear your mindset and what you were thinking because usually, fighters use the first 2 rounds, couple rounds to feel each other out. But to hear you and, talk about the homework that you did, you already knew what kind of fighter he was and you knew what you had to do. But to also take into the fact that you can't just go in there and knock him out right away, even if you knew you could, because you're on this platform. You use that platform to your advantage. And so
Yes,
it's
yes.
awesome to hear. But in that fifth round, that's when we saw you, take complete charge. You already had charge of the fight, it seemed like. You set the pace, you were more aggressive, but Encarnacion kept trying to adjust. He tried to adjust, and it seemed like he was going to until that fifth round. We saw at the end, it looked like you hurt Encarnacion. What did your trainer, tell you in your corner? What was shared in your corner between you and your trainer? Like, do I go in there and finish this right away? Do I continue to set the pace more?
But you kind of broke up on that last part.
Oh. No, just in that fifth round, what was
Hello?
shared in between rounds after? Oh, it's freezing
Yeah,
up
you
a
kind of
little bit.
my bad. You started glitching a little bit. Um, that you know, I feel like being put on that platform. Like you said, it's just one of those things where you gotta have patience.
Yeah.
Every time I came back to the corner, I kept asking my coach, "Can I go now? Can I go now?" He's like, "Nope, nope,
So
nope."
after that
After
fifth
the fourth
round,
round, he said, "Let's let it go now. Let's turn it up now. Let's do our thing." But if it was my choice, I would have said by the third round he would have been out, but it would have been like more of a brawl. It would have been like more having a bang with him and prove my point that I was stronger than him. And my coach didn't want that. My coach was like, "We got to come out clean. Got to come
yeah.
out clean."
Oh, froze up a little bit there. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. So I know we're losing service here, so I'll just kind of try to wrap this up. But I just wanted to hear what were your thoughts when you saw Ranfis touch the canvas? The referee did not stop it. She was gonna let you guys continue, and then the towel was thrown in.
Well, the thing was, my thought right away, and it's kind of crazy. I don't want you to think that I'm as crazy as fucking Mike Tyson guy. But I was like, yeah, let his ass go. Let his ass go. I'm not done with him. I'm not done with him. And then my coach was like, oh, Victor, if they let him up, fuck that. Go touch the body. He's like, touch the body. His head's going to fall off. Touch the body, come over with the hook. And his coach has seen that. And his coach was like, hell no, threw the towel in, which is smart. And I respect his coaches for that because in this sport, people lose their lives all the time. People get hurt all the time. And, you got to respect the coach for that. And that lets you know that the coach has a heart and the coach cared about the kid.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, most coaches are so stubborn. They're like, nope, he can come back. There was no coming back for that. One eye was going this way, the other eye was going that way. He was out. And the referee should have stopped it, because he wasn't getting up. The way he was breathing, his chest was locking up on him because he was done already. So I mean, I know the referee personally, and I'm not gonna say nothing, but sometimes referees just gotta say, you know what, there's nothing left in this kid. This kid can't even stand
Yeah.
up straight.
Yeah, but
So
I know too,
she should have stopped it.
she's taking into consideration 2 undefeated records, so I could see that from her perspective, but I definitely agree he was hurt. He was hurt from the 5th, and then going into the 6th, you saw more of it, so I could see that, but
Yeah,
I'm glad that they threw in the corner. It was awesome to hear the insights because from the TV perspective, we couldn't hear his corner or your corner telling you to finish it. So,
yes,
yeah, so I'm sorry. I know we're freezing
yeah.
up a little bit.
Yeah, we're freezing, but I heard that part. His corner after the third round or after the fourth round, his corner was already like their game plan switched up because you can hear everything, and their game plan switched up. It went from you got this guy, you're taller, you're longer, you're stronger to like, oh no, this guy's strong. Keep your hands up. To saying he's fast, you gotta break his body down. To saying you gotta show some balls. You gotta show some balls. So it started going from a coaching to trying to motivate him, to try to push him. And when you hear that kind of coaching, I know that the kid was mentally, physically, and emotionally broken already. So, it's only a matter of time before a fight explode that and starts really hitting the head hard and starts really turning my hooks over. But the first three rounds, 4 rounds, my punches were just kind of just to shock him a little bit. But if it would have went one more round, or if it would have went on further, I was really gonna start sitting on my punches and really really get him out of there.
Well, based on what we saw in that 6th round, if they would have let it continue, I think we would have seen him on the canvas.
Yeah, it would have been bad. It would have
But
been bad for him.
since we're freezing up so much, I appreciate your time. We'll let you continue celebrating your win and
Thank you.
can't wait to see you step back into the ring. Congratulations.